Hello, my name is Precious and I am the blogger for the Single Maven. I wanted to take just a quick minute to do a short little video. I don't have a lot of time. I'm actually in the process of going to an event. But something was on my heart in regards to waiting and living in the expectation of something. So whether it's been something you've been praying for, just a feeling of lingering not really doubt, but just the question mark area of your life from where you want to be and where you are, and not necessarily seeing a lot of progress. You're seeing maybe a little bit, but not a lot. So you're waiting or you're living in an expectation. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I don't really even have like a script or a plan. But one thing that I did find that I was reading Psalm 62, 5 through 8. It says, "Let all that I am wait quietly before God, for my hope is in Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress where I will not be shaken. My victory and honor come from God alone. He is my refuge, a rock where no enemy can reach me. O my people, trust in Him at all times. Pour out your heart to Him, for God is our refuge." So I found some comfort or just peace about reading that because, when you have feelings of anxiety or nervousness or just, not necessarily seeing things in your life manifest, whether it be things you're praying for in your career or your family. If you're single and you're praying for marriage, or if you're married and you're dealing with things, within your family or your home, or just trying to juggle all the things that you're trying to juggle, or if you're starting a business like me. um, there are a lot of different things that we go through, but I think that there are periods where we question sometimes or just feel a little bit uneasy with the fact that we're waiting and we don't necessarily see progress. And if we see a little bit, we're wondering how much longer. So I think that this really speaks to the fact that you have to wait, but wait quietly, meaning that you're patient and you're not necessarily trying to rush God, but you hope in Him. So for me, that means to actually go back um, to the Bible and look for specific verses that speak to where I am, the expectancy, waiting for that expectation of something, and then seeing specifically, am I waiting through a proper lens of what I think or what I believe God is has in store for me, or am I living with the lens of looking at it through my eyes and what I see? Because what I see is not necessarily the full picture. I don't have all of the information. But what I do know is if I go back to the word and it tells me specifically that my hope is in Him, He's my rock and my salvation, my fortress where I will not be shaken. So even when I feel shaky or anxious or have some level of anxiety about something that I don't have, whether it's single and you're waiting to be married, or just, you're waiting for some type of, answer to something. If you had a job interview, you're waiting for that. My fortress where I will not be shaken. So we're not going to be shaken in spite of all of these things that we have, the question mark areas in our lives. We're not going to be shaken because He's our fortress. My victory and honor come from God alone. So my victory comes from Him. And whatever area it is that you're waiting for some type of expectation to manifest, your victory and honor come from Him alone. So that is where we need to go when we find ourselves in that expectation of something, but we still question the fact of, is it going to happen? It's not happening fast enough, or I don't necessarily hear anything. There's silence, but it says that we have to wait quietly. So we have to be patient and we have to be still sometimes to be able to see where He's directing us. And for me, in that moment, that I found myself, a few minutes ago, was to go specifically to the word, but also to capture it, because I don't know specifically if it's going to help someone else that may be going through something, even though I have somewhere that I need to be. But in actuality, if God is going to be my rock and my salvation, and this is where I find my victory and honor, then I have to honor Him if He calls me to stop and pause and to capture that moment by going to His word and speaking directly to what it says and what it says into my situation, as well as what could be your situation. So it tells us to trust in Him at all times And I firmly believe that we do have to trust in Him at all times when we don't see manifestations of anything that we're praying for or hoping for. But the fact is, when we pour out our heart to Him continually, He hears us and He is our refuge. So I just wanted to take a minute to share that with you all. And I'm going to post it on the blog. I may actually write about these verses a little bit more, but this is Psalm 62, 5 through 8. So I encourage you to look at that if you're in the expectation period. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you all later.